Explain like I'm 5. How does the IRS know if I don't report half of my income? I own a handyman company and get paid in checks made out to my business bank account or in cash. If I were to only report half of my jobs and income to the IRS and my tax accountant, how would the IRS know? They compare your declared business to others of the same size and industry. If you're reporting half the jobs of a similar company and are still in business after a length of time, they start to dig further. They would not automatically know, but if you are hiding a full half of your income, then there are going to be reasons for them to be suspicious. Unless you are literally just burying that money. They can see all the various different things you are buying, and if you are buying more than you could possibly afford, then they have a pretty good reason to audit you. Saw a documentary once that they may get some automatic clues by using Benford's law to identify any shady reported amounts. From what I gathered, it's basically just the statistical probability of certain numbers showing up in certain place values. Tens place, 100s place, etc. This could auto-flag returns for manual review. Know a restaurant owner that got caught based on the napkins he bought. There was a red flag. He was audited. The napkins were 5x the meals declared. They don't unless they audit you and dig into your bank deposits against what you are reporting. And so on. It should be noted that sometime in the foreseeable future, the IRS will probably start to employ AI technologies to more easily figure out who is withholding taxes and who isn't. This is what the uproar was about earlier this year. American banks reporting transactions as low as $600. The IRS. You won't be able to hide any cash income. This is the typical asking for a friend, just out of curiosity. Totally unrelated question. This is how they find out. Open mouth smile. Local Redditor asks for advice on committing the one crime that the federal government really cares about. Also, I was involved in a small restaurant with a partnership that I did not know his history. Long story short, he tried to screw me, so I tossed him out of the go through civil court because he sued me. So we go to court. I show that I sent out K1s with his share of profits, and he admitted on the stand to working for $52 under the table free at another restaurant after I tossed him on the fucking stand. Related to the case, it has no impact, but who do I forward that to fuck him? The short answer is that some small business owners that take payment in cash don't report all of their cash income. As long as they report enough, it's likely to not be noticed by the IRS. Waiters talk all the time about preferring cash tips since they can get away with not reporting it to the IRS. However, many systems are linked. If you make $500,000 in cash deposits to your bank over a year, it will be reported to the IRS. If you report an income of $10,000 per year, the IRS will notice an audit. Long story short, they know because everybody be snitching. Your bank be snitching on you every time you make a large deposit transfer. Your customers snitching on you every time they declare expenses linked to your tax ID. Your wife be snitching every time she goes to that fancy yoga place that's outside of your income class. The IRS has built an automated system where we keep each other in check. You are not rich enough for tax fraud. I'm sure you make good money, but you are not rich enough for tax fraud. If you are paid by small businesses and are not incorporated, they must file an 1099 on payments made to you if they total more than $600 per year. You'll get a copy and the IRS gets a copy. Your bank knows if you've deposited the money. Your expenses would probably give the IRS the idea that you're not being truthful. We will use an indirect method if you are audited. Disallow cash expenses and pick up the same amount as income. You can probably get away with the cash payments if you never deposit them. However, I really recommend you don't do this. You do not want to get on the wrong side of the IRS ever. I went through a really bad period where I did not file returns for a couple of years, divorce, depression, etc. I finally went to an accountant and got everything straightened out. It took me about 2 years before I was back in their good graces. And I honestly don't ever want to talk to them again if I can avoid it. It's just nerve-wracking. What drives me crazy is I file taxes as joint married. After I have our tax team complete our taxes and submit, the IRS comes back at me that I owe them money. I am like, if you know how much I owe you, why the hell am I paying someone else to figure this out? Save us both time and money and just send me a bill. Fucking tax prep company lobbyists. Another way to get caught is if you are investigated for something else and they suspect you cooking your books. They'll inform the IRS they should audit you. Happened to a business owner near me. Had embezzled millions of dollars and would never have been caught. As they say, don't do more than one crime at a time. He never even got in trouble for the original crime, but got felonies for the embezzlement. They don't. You'll get away with it 99,100 times. But they only have to catch you once and then they will probably watch every penny you earn spend. And make you account for each and every one. Assuming the first audit they do doesn't land you in jail for those first 99 times. The government is good at two and only two things: killing people and getting their money. They will spend $20 million of your money to make sure you don't owe them $5 more than you claimed. They will ruin your life with smile on their face and sleep like an evil-ass baby that same night. Because they can read about you asking if you could get away with tax fraud on a public internet forum. If you want to do crimes, don't ask Reddit how to do it. They won't. That's about the end of the story. Unless you're really unlucky and get audited, then they probably still won't figure it out. Just don't buy a bunch of crazy expensive shit. I guess as a handyman you're just trying to get by. You'll be okay. If you get paid in cash and you don't put it in the bank, they won't know. Having no paper trail is the only way. No checks. No bank deposits. That's why our government wants to go to a cashless system. If you live on cash and feel like defrauding your government, go for it. Just don't be one of those adults who cry about the government when you're cheating them. Goes both ways like AD. Likely they will never know as long as you aren't doing weird suspicious shit, but the consequences are high. I'd venture to guess a lot of small businesses don't report all income, or at least not perfectly. But if you're growing and get to a large size and only report a small amount, the consequences keep getting greater. Depends on a lot of things. But there is a decent chance they don't actually, assuming you are smart about it. You can't lie if you have a 1099 for a company, for instance, because the company you are working for is already reporting that. But if you get paid with cash for building a deck for someone, they almost certainly won't know without auditing you. However, if you get caught lying to them, which is unlikely unless you are clearly lying, then the penalty is not great. Basically, unless you earn a large amount of money, your deductions can reduce your taxable income quite a bit, so it's worth paying them 15% of your income to keep them off your back. The IRS just wants to get paid their share. They are very accommodating if you've made an honest blunder. But if you try dicking them around, they will bring the full faith and credit of the United States government straight to your asshole. Tax evasion is how they got Al Capone. Don't do it. Or at least, don't do literally half your income, that'll get you caught. The consequences are dire. Lol, unless you are paid in cash and don't deposit the money, the IRS is gonna find out about the checks and deposited cash, duh.